The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog eat! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh, my God. The Jets killed him.
It is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and join us in the chat. You can view us as we come to you from our separate studios here, the Ingalls studio here at Radio Ranch, and then the NFLDraft.net Mullet Manor, as Jeremy Greene continues to put the finer touches of the 2025 NFL Draft scouting process before us each and every day here. NFLDraft.net, that is your source, or should be your source, for everything you need to know leading up to the draft. Player profiles, you got mock drafts, player rankings, all the such here, working with the Sportsocracy. A-plus mock drafts in the NFC East. What do the Dallas Cowboys need? Can the Dallas Cowboys change your mind about the prospects of their next season with an A-plus mock draft, Jeremy?
No.
It's going to be grim regardless.
I'm not wild about it. I don't think it's a very good team, and I don't think they're going to be a very good team, and I don't really think there's anybody that's going to change that. I mean, you talk about team needs for this team. How many pressing needs do you think the Dallas Cowboys have for me?
I would say 6.
Okay, so no team in the NFL has 6 pressing needs. It's not an expansion team. That's not how the draft works. We don't give you a pick in the middle of the round and then give you another one. So they've got 5, though. Legitimately, they've got 5.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they have to add an offensive lineman. I really think they need 2, to be really honest with you. I know they added Robert Jones. That doesn't change much for me. Tyler Guyton was terrifyingly bad last year. Now you have no Zach Martin. So I think you need 2 offensive linemen. I think you need a defensive tackle, because your defensive tackle room, Mozzie Smith has been brutally bad. Brutally bad. Do you realize in the last 2 years, in 2 years combined, how many defensive tackles, according to PFF, have graded worse than him combined?
Oh, I'd say 0.
It's 1. He was 130 last year, 2 years ago in 2023, he was 130 and 130. Last year, he was 117 and 118.
Wow.
And last year, he was the worst one in the league by a lot. So you got to deal with that. I think you still need a weapon of some kind, because right now your receiving core is Gnarls Barkley. Jalen Tolbert, you're legit, too. Can you name me the third receiver on this team?
Turpin.
Kevontae Turpin is he's a kick returner.
A kick returner. Yeah.
You're running into either Jonathan Mingo or Jalen Brooks or Ryan Flournoy or Paris Campbell. Oh.
No, you were all about Ryan Flournoy, though, weren't you?
To be honest with you, I think Flournoy is the best one of the bunch. And he was pretty good last year, too, by the way.
Yeah, that was your little boyfriend from, what little school did he go to?
Oh, let's see if he can get it right.
I want to say it was a directional school.
It is. It's a double directional school, as a matter of fact.
Southwest Poughkeepsie State.
You started so good and ended so badly, because that doesn't exist. Southeast Missouri State.
Southeast Missouri. There you go. Yeah, you were all about some Ryan Flournoy. They made the trade last year with Jonathan Mingo, but yeah, I mean, it's C.D. Lamb and just a bunch of dudes.
It's a bunch of 4s. I mean, they legit. They have a bunch of 4s. So you have to add one of those. My 5 pressing needs for the Dallas Cowboys are in order: wide receiver, running back, guard, offensive tackle, defensive tackle. You've got to have weapons or none of this matters because teams are going to absolutely blitz the bejesus out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you pick at 12, and I don't think positional value says you're taking a running back there. I don't think there is a receiver that is worth 12. Matthew Golden's too high. I don't think Ted McMillan's going to be there. I have a real belief that Ted McMillan's either going to the Panthers at 8, and then that's maybe 5%, or the Saints at 9. So you got to take positional value. So at 12, I'm going to address one of those offensive line spots. I'm going Armin Mimbu. I don't believe he's going as high as everybody's telling me. That he's going 7 to the Jets. He could go as high as 5 to Jacksonville. I don't buy that because the tape doesn't dictate that. However, I have already seen Dallas take a player that reminds me a lot of Mimbu in Tyler Smith. That they pushed into guard. He's played tackle. I think Mimbu's kind of the same thing. He's so athletic. He's got such long arms. And the technique is good. I don't think he has ever settled into this is where I'm going to play. And we're losing our mind about all of our measurables. And you're taking him ahead of Kelvin Banks. You're taking him ahead of Will Campbell in some instances. That doesn't make any sense to me. In this, they're both gone. So Mimbu's the 3. I don't really care where you slot him. I think he can be an elite guard. I think he can be a pretty high-end right tackle. One way or the other, I know he's going to play somewhere, and he's going to be better than what I actively have. And I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. So I take the layup at 12.
Okay. Go with the offensive lineman, the tackle, Armin Mimbu. And then what can you address at 44? Is this the wide receiver slot?
I'm going to go wide receiver. Maybe not for the reason that people would think. I'm also not going to take the player that people would think. So last year, CeeDee Lamb played about half his snaps out of the slot. It was 413 to 396. At this point, you're going to have to put CeeDee Lamb. He's going to have to get in where he fits in. Because CeeDee's the one thing that I know is a no-doubter. He'll win on the outside. He'll win on the inside. I don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
Receiver gets super slotty super quickly. As a matter of fact, it's Ted McMillan goes, if you don't get Trey Harris or Alec Ayumanor, and I think they're both going in the 30s, if you don't get one of those two guys, you're taking a guy that's going to play out of the slot. So if I'm Dallas, would you not swing for the fences? Getting the safe receiver, the Jack Betch or Jalen Royals or Torrey Horton, that's not going to move the needle. I'm going to take Luther Burden the third.
Oh, okay.
Because what if I'm wrong? And I'm willing to admit I've been wrong on I'm wrong on 50 players a year. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm wrong, Luther Burden should not be here at 44, and I almost can't find a way that he's not going to be. So you have to manufacture his touches. Okay, you've got a really accurate quarterback in Dak Prescott. He can take some of those slot snaps from CeeDee Lamb, put CeeDee on the outside. I think you can bunch those two together on the same side, and it's really difficult to deal with. Then you put a bigger receiver on the other side in Jonathan Mingo. The hope is that Brian Schottenheimer can figure out how to get him open deep. Because, look, Mingo was the first of these Ole Miss receivers that they all kind of play the same position where they play on the outside and they're not blindingly fast, but they do a really good job of finding space deep. If you can do that, your receiving core is not that bad. It's not elite by any stretch, but I think that's your highest range of outcome. You talked earlier about Ryan Flournoy, who I really like. I think he's going to be a legit third, fourth receiver in this league, and you got him in the 6th round. He played almost all of his snaps out wide last year. So when you really break it down, Dallas almost kind of falls into a better position here of to be more multiple, I need one of these guys that play out of the slot. I need a guy that I can manufacture touches because I don't really trust my running back. So if I'm having to throw screen passes to Luther Burden, it doesn't really matter all that much. That's kind of an extension of the run game. So I'm looking at a role for him that kind of mirrors what Deebo Samuel did in San Francisco. I may actually hand him the ball out of the backfield at times. I don't care. I need somebody that's good with the ball in their hand. He is more than 44th pick in the draft talented. But there's a lot of yeah buts with him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Dallas is a good fit.
All right, Dallas's next pick is at 76. Do you go back into offensive lineman here since guard's getting
It's getting a little thin. I do.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, and I should point this out, Dallas had Luther Burden in for a top 30 visit just a few days ago. It's one of the ways that I put these together. Hey, another player they had in for a top 30 visits, who I'm taking here at 76, Jonas Savaiinaea, the guard tackle hybrid out of Arizona. I really like the idea of pairing these two together because I think they would play tremendously well on the same side together. And they're both such good movers. They're such good pull players. And you look at Dallas, even if you were to move Tyler Smith, I don't really care what you do. This is two really good movers. Now, you look at what they have locked in place. Cooper Beebe is not an elite mover. So you add two guys that are, it makes you more multiple in the run game. And when I do add a running back, and I'll go ahead and tell you it's not going to take long before I do that, it gives you different ways of springing them in space, whether it's outside, whether it's between the tackles, which is why I think you signed Javonte Williams, is to play that role. And I'm going to try to find somebody that can bounce to the outside, and now I'm just flat out more multiple. And look, this is the last of my high-end capital. I don't pick again until the middle of the 5th round. So that's 3, to me, big shots I've taken. Are they risky?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. They are all 3 risky to a point. Mimbu, he may just be an athletic freak. May not be that great of a football player. Burden may never be able to get the ball in his hands. Savaiinaea, weight's going to be an issue, and where does he play? But, man, if you hit all 3 of those, this could be the best draft the Dallas Cowboys have had in 20 years.
No doubt. Those are 3 potential impact immediate starters.
For sure.
Hopefully you won't have to use them that way, but you could if you needed to. All right, so let's skip down to 149.
This is where I'm going to get the running back. This is the best top-end speed running back in this class. It's Byshell Tootin from Virginia Tech. And look, he ran the fastest 40th combine among running backs. He is high-end elusive. I'm in like, not love. He's a really compact guy, but he's got track speed. Now, the knock on him, to me, is he fumbles way too much. He had 9 fumbles in 2 years. And he gets he really wants to hit the home run on every play. That's the reason I don't think he's a 1. I think he's a 2. I also hear people talk about how he's going to be this great back out of the backfield as a pass catcher. He can't block. Like, at all. So to me, he's more of a early down back, trying to get in front of the chains, run some play action with him, get him out in space, because you have to keep the defense off balance with him because he's that bad of a blocker. Teams will see him in on pass downs, and they will send an extra blitzer just to keep him from getting out in the flat. Like, I'm going to make you on that option route, I'm going to make you stay in here. That delay, I'm going to make you stay in here because I'm going to run you over. But, man, is he good. When you get him to the outside, he is really, really good. Also, really, really good in zone. Just throwing that out there.
Byshell Tootin, the running back. What do they need at 174?
174 is where I go Shamar James. I'm in like, not love with their linebacking core. You know how I felt about DeMarvion Overshown last year. And I think in before he got hurt, I think he showed why I was so fond of him. They added Jack Sanborn. I think that's good. They added Kenneth Murray. I think that's good. But you see how I keep hesitating on each one of those?
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's not great. I still feel like there's another player that you're going to need in there somewhere. I don't know that it's Shamar James. Shamar James, in terms of just sheer, you walk into this kid in a hotel lobby, he looks like he would absolutely just wreck your soul. The tape's just super inconsistent. He needs to be, I think, basically take not a blip year, but just be used situationally for a year, and then you can see what you get out of him a year from now. He's really bad in coverage, but he is a thumper against the run.
All right, after Shamar James.
Shamar James, also a guy that the Cowboys have been attached to in this process. You're going to see a common theme with once we get past about 170, you just assume this is somebody they've talked to at some point.
Mm-hmm. 5 picks in the 200s.
Yes, so 204, we start with Tim Smith, defensive tackle from Alabama. I don't think there's a ton of super high upside. I don't think there's a lot of downside, though, either. I don't hear anybody talk about him. He's not the physical freak, but I feel like he kind of reminds me of Sheldon Rankins. He's never going to be the best defensive lineman on a team, but I also think he's going to play in the league for about 10 years because he plays up and down the line. He's really strong, and he probably keeps his pad level better than, I'm not going to say any defensive tackle in this class, but most of them. PFF's comp on him was John Ridgeway. And once I saw that, I couldn't unsee it. Hey, Tank, how many times did I say John Ridgeway's name the year he got drafted?
A bunch.
5,014.
Mm-hmm.
I loved him so much. He's bounced around the league like a ping pong ball. And now he plays for the
but
Washington
he can
Commanders.
bench press 14 bales of hay.
He can. He can. Dude, I'm still not to the point you can talk smack. Okay, like
no, I just remember that was the line, was that this kid's lived on a farm and he built the whole thing with his bare hands.
Yes. And he will fight you like a grown man if you try to take it away from him.
Yes. He's out there punching trees and stuff. All right, after Tim Smith?
Elijah Huzzy from North Carolina. This is your slot corner, I think, moving forward. You don't really have one at the moment that makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Trayvon Diggs plays very little out of the slot. Deron Blandle plays even less out of the slot. So I think you need a guy, and I love Elijah Huzzy. The thing I don't understand is why his tape kept getting worse and worse and worse. That's weird to me. But the talent at North Carolina kept getting worse and worse and worse. He was asked to do more and more. But I think among slot corners, he's in my top 5 in this class. And you get him here this late, that's really, really, really good value.
Okay. And then?
217 is the next pick. And I lost it on my screen. Where did you go? They have more picks. I don't know where they just went, but they do have more.
They do. 217, 239, and 247.
There they are. 217, Samuel Brown from Miami. That's the height, weight, speed receiver that you're just, if that kid ever figures it out, he's going to be special. But then my question with those guys is always, but why weren't you better in college? So you're a height, weight, speed guy that is, you would think playing against college athletes, that would be where you really see them show out. Because Sam Brown's over 6'2". I don't have his measurement up in front of me. He only had 36 catches last year. With really good speed, he only averaged 14 yards per catch. He only had one game with over 100 yards receiving. He's just kind of a bizarre prospect to me, but that's why you can get him this late.
Mm-hmm.
Just sheer talent, he should go higher than that. I just don't think he will.
All right, next.
The last two are guys that they have been attached to. I do not have draftable grades on these guys, but they have been attached to them over the course of the process. The first one is Justin Barron. He's a linebacker from Syracuse. I did not see a ton to him, but Dallas has they've been on him at his pro day. They were on him for a top 30 visit. I always tend to stack these 7th-round picks with guys that you invest like that. And then the final one is one of the better names in this class. Rivaldo Fairweather, tight end out of Auburn.
Rivaldo
Fairweather, tight end out of Auburn. And he was the last non-draftable tight end for me. I want to love him because he is a BDD. But like everything about him screams this is not going to work. Contested catch rate was too low. Yards per route run was low. He does have good hands. I will give him that. He's got really good hands, and he did have a handful of deep catches down the middle last year. But Dallas has been on him since the start of the process. So figured with this many picks, might as well throw out a couple. Hey, this guy was in your building. You should probably remember this name.
Right. We got another super chat here just before the break.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money.
And it was from Red Sea. Red Sea says, pressing needs for Dallas, owner and a head coach. Well, those can't be addressed in the draft, unfortunately.
And did he say it twice?
He did.
He really wanted to get that out there.
Yes. Well, he really wanted to reiterate because the second one was all caps.
That's aggressively knowing how to play the social media game. I'm going all caps the second time because I really mean
That's
it.
That's right. Right. Dallas Cowboys' biggest needs. Yeah, 2 of them can't be addressed in this draft.
By the way, this is a great time to point out.
You got a joke of an owner and a joke of a head coach.
By the way, this is a great time to point out. If you want to yell on the internet, that's how you do it. You have to put some things the way that normal people type. If you just yell everything, then we just think you're a crazy person that's yelling at squirrels and children. That was to our YouTube comments because we have about 4 dudes that everything they say is in all caps. And it just makes me think that you're sitting at your house pissed at your children because they didn't go to business school and mad because they didn't marry that girl from high school. Like, you're just mad at everything they've ever done, and you've never told them you love them.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. 2 more teams in the NFC East to get to before the end of the program. Coming up next, that team on the rise, the Washington Commanders. They got an opportunity. This offseason has already been great. How can they knock out the draft? Coming up next.